Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be for you, and welcome back to another super detailed guide. We haven't done these for a while. Today we're looking at DayZ IntenZ. If you know the channel, you're not new to the channel, you'll know that this is probably the server on PC I've put most hours into. We usually play EU Chernarus. Today we're doing this on EU Livonia, but there is also an US Chernarus server. If you've got a number of hours in DayZ and you feel like it's getting a little bit, I don't want to say easy, but maybe a little bit too predictable, the survival, you want to give yourself a challenge, maybe you've seen the recent Fresh Spawns video where they did a really good job of showcasing how to survive on this server. They've played it in the past, so has Barmby. Hey Barmby, shout out. This server runs a very difficult to comprehend at the beginning anyway, Siberia medical mod. In the description, I'm going to give the link to the Discord, the IntenZ Discord. On that Discord, you can find a medical guide. You can also find it just by Googling Siberia medical mod, medical guide. You will need to know what certain medications do. You will pick up hematomas, deep wounds, concussion, level 1 pain, level 2 pain. You'll pick up cold, which will develop into flu if not treated, which will then develop into pneumonia if not treated. If you kill another player or two players or decide to butcher a player for bones to turn into bone hooks, you will get negative mental impact, if you like, and your character will start giggling as if they had Kuru, or even with red flashing mental, your character will start to sit down and wave and do all the emotes completely involuntarily, and it can get very, very annoying, but you can take mental medication to counteract that. It's a lot to take in, and even in a super detailed guide, even if I record for an hour, hour and a half now, I wouldn't be able to cover everything. Put any specific questions in the comments, obviously below. But first things first, I would have a second monitor, a tablet, your phone, maybe have the medical guide up somewhere easily accessible if you're diving into this for the first time. You're going to get this screen when you start a new character because it has got a skill tree. You will allocate skills. You get 30 points at the beginning into the different branches of the skill tree, and they will enable you to do certain things. On standard, official, vanilla DayZ, you can make a hand drill kit, for example, and start a fire. You can't do that unless you've got level 30 survival with this mod, the Siberia mod. So without knowing that, you might make yourself a hand drill kit and think, why isn't this working? This is the generic build I tend to do every time I start a new character. 4 points in immunity, 4 points in medicine. You'll see when we load in why I choose these and what perks it then gives you every so often as you climb up the skill tree. I don't put anything in athletic strength or stealth because you tend to build them up quite easily and quite quickly just from walking, fighting zombies, creeping. I put 10 in survival because survival will enable you to start a fire quicker. Because with this mod, you can fail. Even with matches, lighter, a flare, you might not always spark your fire up at the first attempt unless you're given a higher percentage chance of a successful fire starter. And as you go up the survival skill tree, it gives you a higher percentile chance of getting that fire started. And butchering 12, I like to put a lot of points in butchering, because the lower you are down the butchering scale, the poorer the quality of meat you will get, the lower the yield. So when you skin a chicken or a fish, you might only get 10% of the fillet or the chicken breast if you're butchering level 1, for example. And as you go up the tree, up in skills on butchering, you get more of a yield, and fishing will really be your friend on the IntenZ servers. The food you find a lot of the time will be rotten. If you find unopened food, it's a miracle. Thank you, lucky stars. you'll usually find rotten food, which will give you an upset stomach. And again, you will need to find the right medication to offset that stomach upset and stop yourself, well, basically puking out all the nutrients you've just ingested. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I'm going to load in. We're on Livonia because we don't want to interfere with our character we have on Chernarus. I obviously don't know where we're going to spawn. But I think if you're diving into IntenZ, you've probably got some experience with DayZ on official or vanilla, so you're probably going to know Chernarus at least quite well. Maybe now the Livonia DLC comes free, if you like, as part of the overall DayZ package. You don't have to buy it separately. So maybe you've dipped your toes into Livonia. And I'd like to see this population increase, to be honest. The IntenZ Livonia pop is quite low. But with people like the Fresh Spawns, Barnby, showcasing IntenZ from time to time anyway, it has got more popular. I've noticed that the Chernarus server is pretty full, especially in the evenings and weekends. Might have a bit of rendering issues as you first load in. Now, you might recognise where you are straight away, particularly if you love Livonia. I think I'm in Sitnik, just outside Sitnik. This is a great spawn, actually. Hopefully, he says. What you want to do, before you go into town, you cannot fight zombies as you fight zombies on official. I'm just going to call it official, but I mean vanilla servers as well. Where you could walk up to a zombie, 3 power hits, and then they're dead. You can't do that on here. They will beat you to a pulp, and you'll be in big trouble. So the first thing you want to do is get yourself a long stick. Matt, before you do that, see? You want to allocate your skills. Press O if you're on PC. Well, you are on PC because this isn't on console. So press O on the keyboard. It opens up your skill tree. Hopefully a freshie doesn't punch our head in when we're doing this. You might want to go in a bush to do this. See, we're already given some perks because of the levels and the points we've put in the skill tree. I'm going to take poison and resistance so I can remove toxins from rotten food from my body 5% faster. And recovery of hematomas, because you are going to get hematomas even when blocking zombies. And if you get 5 hematomas or more, you will start losing health. You need to get those bruises down to 4 or less. Stab wound surgery, if you get a deep wound, you will start losing a lot of blood and you'll walk very slowly until you stitch that wound. And when you hit level 4, it allows you to remove a bullet. The bullet will stay in you even if it's a 22. And it hardly does any health damage until you remove that bullet or address the level 2 pain it will also give you. You will be walking around as if you're red health in official. Survival, there we go. Quicker to start a fire, better cold resistance, allocate all these. Rough hands, we won't get cuts. Well, we're less likely to get a cut when working without gloves, which is why you want to activate that before you get your first long stick. Hopefully we don't get a cut. See, light and fire is now 10% chance. Cold resistance, we can tolerate it 5% better. And we can now make stashes level 9. So if you're looking to do a base, you need that straight off the rip. Butchering, the amount of meat obtained increased by 10%. We can butcher things quicker. Amount of meat increased by to 15%. Our knives, traps and butchering tools take 5% less damage. Amount of meat obtained increased to 20%. We can now set traps. Butchering speed increased by 10%. Amount of meat obtained increased to 30%. This is all good. And tools take 10% less damage. So we're done. We can get our long stick. This weapon is better on zombies than actually just punching the zombies with your bare hands. And I'll hopefully showcase you that. First zombie or 2 we see. That's just something I like to do with my hot bar. And on Livonia, you get 4 rags. You don't get that on Chernarus. So immediately, we can make ourselves some lovely hand wraps. Because we want to be able to search for the zombies we kill. You have to search zombies. You can't just tab in the vicinity with this server. You have to physically search the zombie. Again, we'll showcase that when we kill our first zombie or 2. And you're going to want to search the zombies as long as it's safe to do so, because they have the possibility of dropping bones, which you can then make into improvised hooks or bone knives. They can also, it's a very small chance, but they can drop food, cans of soda, etc. So I'm not going to go crazy in Sitnik. I know the points of interest. I know where the well is, up by the church. I've got a really good tip for anyone who spawns in Sitnik on this server of where you might want to go quite early on to get yourself some fishing equipment. I mean, this is completely unscripted, believe it or not, so we could have an absolute disaster. But we're going to try it anyway. We're going to walk through the middle of town. What could go wrong? Check out this gas station because there is a military tent there. And I'm looking now. Oh, there you go. That's perfect. Pitchfork of dreams. If you know what you're doing with a pitchfork on this server, it will drop a zombie with 1 power attack to the head. So if you can find a pitchfork, you want to learn its timing. Oh, there's a chicken over there as well, which spells potential bones. If we can get a blade to cut it with. That's what I'm hoping here at the gas station. Or like at the Humvee. You'll also notice the inventory space is a lot reduced. They're doing that with the next update, aren't they? On vanilla, on official Shinaris. But so things like patrol pants, even though they're damaged, are a godsend because they'll immediately increase your carry capacity greatly. Also, when you get a backpack on this server, you won't be able to see it just by going into your inventory. You'll physically have to put the backpack in your hand by pressing B or dragging it, or put it in on the ground. Make sure it's not ruined or you'll lose it forever. Before you can access your backpack, you'll have to take it off your back, which I think is a nice touch, actually. It's a bit more realistic. Over here, well, we've hit gold with a hatchet, because we can now skin an animal. And look at the first aid kits. They only take up 3x3 in your inventory, but they give you 27 slots. You can only put medical items inside them, but it'll save you a lot of space and a lot of heartache when you start collecting a lot of goods, medical goods. Look at this. We can just drag that out, put that in there. It still takes up the same amount of space. We're going to take the jacket, even though it's battered, because it gives us 5 more slots than the raincoat. Now, we could start collecting rags. As you may already know, 6 rags combined with another stack of 6. You can make your own rope and wear it as a belt. You're then able to go fishing once you've got hooks. So I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to hotkey my Pitchfork of Dreams. When something is in your inventory like that, you can't access the bandage. So it'll only be in my hotbar if I keep it outside. So I'm going to keep the bandage outside for now. We're going to cut this raincoat up for rags. We're going to start collecting rags. We might get lucky and find some actual rope. Or even luckier and find a fishing rod. In case we don't, we'll start collecting. So we've got our own rope when we're ready to go fishing, when we've got hooks. We don't want that. And in my mind now, I've got a picture of Fitnik, because I know Livonia quite well. There's a lot of industrial sheds and items there, but we're on the clock. Look, our food and our water's 2 arrows down. Once you hit red water or red food, you will start walking very slow on this server. So you want to try and avoid that. Let's take our first zombie out. Pitchfork. What we do, we aggro the zombie, we allow it to sprint at us, we get in stance ready, and then we power attack to the head and the zombie goes down in 1. It's beautiful. Left click on your mouse, search the zombie. Dangerous in the middle of the street, but let's just go for it. Matches. Unbelievable touch. If you've got a container, try and keep your matches in them, as it will help to avoid them getting damp from the weather, and we all know what it's like in Livonia. We'll take some better boots for insulation, because we're already cold, light blue. It's autumn at the moment. One of the good things about these servers is they do rotate through the seasons. It's a 3-month cycle. It wipes every 3 months. Everything wipes. Bases, characters, goes back to normal every 3 months. It starts at summer, goes to autumn, then goes to winter. You don't want a glow stick. We've got nothing else here. We move on. We've nearly got enough rags to make our own rope. I'm going to search this fairground, if you like, because you can find some nice stuff. It has the chance of spawning hunting loot, but it does also have the chance of spawning zombies. There you go. So let's see if we can get into a fight. I mean, even if we take some damage, it will show you how this server works, the medical mod, but I think it's only one zombie. Here we go. Same thing again, get in stance. If you can time that, it takes some getting used to, the timing. You need to start the action of the power hit when they're about 6 feet away from you, because it takes a little while. Did you see it? The animation to raise the fork and jab it forward, that power attack. You've got to time it. You've got to learn the timing. Wow, this is looking more scripted by the minute. Beautiful. A pristine hatchet. Excellent. Always have a look at these bumper cars, we call them in the UK. I don't know what you call them in the States and other places. We're going to keep the hatchet in our hand because that can one-tap a zombie on IntenZ as well. If you hit him in the head, we're just going to wait for him to do his little dance. And when he gets within range, we're going to smash him in the head with a power attack. And there he goes. We haven't got any capacity to put the hatchet away. Oh, so we're going to quickly get up and bring out the pitchfork for Buster here. Drop him. Good job I had my wits about me and I could hear him creeping, going into his aggro audio. We've got 2 zombies to search now, but I have to drop the hatchet every time. My God, look at this. I haven't actually got any room for the flare, but we have got matches, so not the end of the world. We've still got 1 flare that we spawned in with. We're looking for bones or food, of course, would be the big win. All right. Not great. Let's get our hatchet back. Go back to what we were doing, checking the bumper cars of dreams. I don't think we're getting much here, though, are we? They can spawn stuff on the outside. So have a little scan. Nothing. We're going to go and check the caravan. What have we got here? A nice big quilted jacket, but it's only got 6 slots. We'd be giving away 2 slots. Oh, dear. Look at this. A little Ruger. We can drop our stick because we've got weapons. Take the Ruger for now. It's not great. And I know the well is at the top of this road, so we're going to start looting that way. Gasoline. Car battery. There's a little hunting store there. We're not going to go there just yet. We do want to go that way, though, because the medical is that way. And medicine is very important on this server. I'm being a bit blasé because I've probably got 1,000+ hours on this server. I'm just guessing. Number off the top of my head. It might be slightly less. But I do get a little bit blasé sometimes. If you know Livonia well, you know Sitnik well, you might want to go for that medical and get yourself some medical supplies before hitting the well. I'm going to do it the other way round, okay? Let's see if it pays off. It might be a terrible decision. We're going to put the rope there for now, but we can tie it around our waist as a rope belt if we feel the need to do so to save some inventory space. I'm hoping we can find a bag before then. Now, on this server, you want to be scanning, because what you don't want to do, however good you are at fighting the zombies, you don't want to aggro 2 or 3 at the same time. It can be a world of pain. So I'm scanning ahead. I'm pressing down on my mouse wheel, clicking it down, just having a look. Not just for players, but more importantly, zombies, really. Can of baked beans, rotten. If I eat those now, they're going to give me a very, very bad stomach, and I've got no medicine to counteract it. So I'll just end up taking some plus arrows, and it'll look good. Oh, we're eating. But then eventually, you'll throw up, and you'll end up more dehydrated and more hungry than if you'd never eaten those rotten baked beans in the first place. So if you're new to the server, and you haven't got any stomach pain medication, bad belly medication, I wouldn't bother eating it. Same with the piker. See how it's open? And it says the word rotten in the description. Avoid it. We'll take it with us, see if we can use it as an example, because it's only 1 slot. But avoid it unless you've got the right meds. So there we go. I've seen a fella by here. I want him to come to me on this server, especially when I got a hatchet or a pitchfork, something that will one-tap them. Because I'm just going to stand there and give him the business as soon as he's within range. But you've got to work out the different ranges and the animations for the weapon you're using. And it's only because I've got a bladed weapon, like a kitchen knife, a hunting knife, a combat knife. A hatchet will drop them with 1 hit. A melee weapon like a bat, a crowbar, a tire iron, a pipe, they will not drop them with one hit. So bear that in mind. If you have to fight a zombie with a melee, look at that, more slots, and it's in better condition. If you've got to fight a zombie with a melee, you've got to learn a different style of fighting, and I'll hopefully be able to show you that. If we find a melee weapon, oh, there's a base there, look. Beautiful. And look at that. Genuine gloves, even though badly damaged. I'm going to take them, and we're going to have a sip at the well. It's a bit of a risk. We might get one tap now by the base owner. Look at these zombies. They're going to be an issue. There is a small chance, without drinking using a water bottle or a cooking pot or a canteen, there's a small chance of getting sick from drinking at a well like this. And you'd have to have the upset stomach medication to counteract it and stop yourself throwing up, basically. It doesn't cure you. You'll cure yourself of stomach pain over time, but the medication just stops you throwing up and throwing up all that goodness. We're already planning on dealing with these zombies one at a time. I don't want them both aggroing on me. Keeping an eye from anyone camping the tower as well. But I mean, if you get head tapped, what are you going to do? We've simply got to drink at the well. Even though there is another well over by the medical, I want to get on top of that. At least one of our icons in our HUD is going to be white soon. Hydration. Talking of icons, see the extra 2 symbols to the left of the water? First on the left is mental state. As I told you earlier, if you kill too many players in a short period of time, you will get a negative mental state. It'll drop to yellow. Eventually it'll go chunked first, white chunked, then yellow. You'll start giggling involuntarily. Then it can go red, and you'll be in a world of pain then, as your character starts twitching, giggling. If you put a gun in his hand, you'll fire it involuntarily as well, giving away your position. And your character will even F11, or try to, without your blessing, if you read mental health, or even worse, red flashing. Got his attention. God knows what route he's going to take. Oh, he took quite a decent path there. I'm not going to search him because it's right in front of a base. We don't want to chance it. No police stuff spawning in the garages, despite them being very close to the PD. So we're just going to go in. We're here. We might as well have a look. We might get a stabby. Who knows? Might get a cheeky pumpy or an SSG. Probably not going to because of the proximity of that base. I'm guessing they're farming this PD over and over again. Looks pretty empty to me, but while we're this close, we're always going to have a look. Surely, we're always going to have a look. May even have a look on the roof. Sod it. You probably will get away with talking to people more on this server. IntenZ servers. I mean, they can be KOS, of course. Any server can be, but because of the struggle and everybody's in the same boat, they know how difficult it is to get a good start. I've probably had more friendly interactions. That's been dropped there by somebody. We don't need it. Well, we could do with it, but we haven't got the carry space. We're going to start heading back down the way we came to the hunting store. And behind the hunting store is the medical. And another well. All the good stuff. So they would be my final destinations in this part of Sipnick before we go to the summer camp of dreams, hopefully. And the lake, which is close to it, which can spawn all the beautiful fishing tools we're going to need to at least give this character a chance of surviving beyond the first hour or two. Because notice we haven't found any food yet other than rotten food. So at the minute, our best plan is to go fishing, but we haven't got any hooks. I can see him, high-vis Harry over there. I think he's going to be a 1v1 kill. Let's let him aggro onto us. Here he is. He's noticed us. He'll scream. There he comes. I'm getting ready in stance. Power attack. Down he goes. No damage done to us at all. We'll search him even though we're in the open and it's a bit silly. We find a battery. There we go. We'll take that. We could have taken the screwdriver. What am I talking about? We did have enough space for it. So that's a mistake on my part. But I'm not going to go back for it. We'll punish ourselves for our ineptitude. I'm scanning ahead. There's a zombie there, but there could be zombies hiding behind the building. You aggro one, all of a sudden 2 or 3 come from nowhere. Look at him over there. I nearly missed him. But in this store, we could get a hunting knife. It's unlikely, especially with a base in town. Minimum 1. We'll take the second flare. Put the space where we would have had the screwdriver. Medieval helmet, no thanks. We'll take the baseball cap. Now, we've got to fight our way to the medical. Now, personally, I'd go this way. This guy's going to aggro, isn't he? Yeah, here he comes. Once he's aggroed and there are no other zombies around, it's pointless running from these zombies. Because another thing I haven't mentioned in the first 25 minutes, you can't trap zombies in buildings or run away and lock the door behind you on this server. They can kick the doors open. Which I think is a nice touch. Oh, I can hear another zombie. Look at that, BK-18 all day. 7x39 ammo is not easy to find on these servers, but if we do get some, we can now hunt an animal. Pretty straightforward kill with VK-18, especially a cow, sheep, pig. I did remember there was a chicken back there somewhere, and we've chosen not to go for it, which we could pay for in the long run. But we're just going to keep on this way. Always hit up this little hunting shack. Here he is. He's in the Michael Jackson Thriller outfit. Put him down. So far we haven't taken 1 hit from a zombie. I feel like I'm not really showcasing the Siberia medical mod. But swap out the damaged one for something worn. But that's not a terrible thing. You can put chlorine tabs in them with your medical supplies. You have been slapped around, and now in your HUD you've got hematomas, level 1 pain, which looks like 3 white lightning bolts. Even worse, level 2 pain, which is 3 yellow lightning bolts. A deep wound. Small wounds can heal themselves on this server. If you get 2 or 3 cuts, believe it or not, you will not bleed out. They will heal themselves, but if you don't patch them up with disinfected bandages, they can become septic, and sepsis will kill you pretty quickly on this server without the right meds. So you can see again on how I can tell you about a lot of things, but it's very situational on what I can show you. A lot of the time you are going to have to suck it and see and learn by your own mistakes, really. And when you do get bashed up by the zombies... I hope that's a zombie in there. Yeah, it is. Luckily, our stamina is allowing us to do a couple of power hits before we get too tired. Stamina depletes quicker on this server. It is hardcore. Always search the medical zombies because they've got the possibility of dropping that beautiful medical loot for you. I'm going to shut all the doors behind me. Hopefully not aggro the whole street, which is probably out the front there. Let's have a look. Door's closed. We'll see if we can find any medication. Nothing in the coats. Here we go. Movalis will treat level 1 pain. In it goes. Thank you very much. Always check the pants. Look, if it has a plus symbol next to the word paramedic pants, it means there's something inside. So you don't have to... See, that one hasn't. I tab in, nothing in the coat. You can just look at these items, look for the plus symbol. Once you see it... Oh, what's in here? A bandage. Beautiful. Make sure it's disinfected. Or if you do pick it up and it's not disinfected, add your own alcohol, iodine, disinfectant to it before applying it to your wounds. That's empty, so no point taking it. These little vials of medication, you can only take them if you inject them into yourself with a syringe. And before you do that, you have to remove your top, your hoodie, your coat, your t-shirt. Make sure it's not ruined before you remove it, or you won't be able to put it back on. I've done that a few times. Classic. Looks like this medical is not yielding a lot, which is a shame. Now, I don't even remember off the top of my head what that does. So while I've got the capacity, I'm just going to take it anyway. if I get a really serious illness, I can always bring up my medical guide from the Discord and check. Does that do what we want it to do? See there, the level of stealth has increased to 1. Now, if you're in a safe place, I wouldn't do this in a medical. You press O on the keyboard, go to stealth. Now I can initiate silent steps, activate it. The movement noise level is reduced by 10%. Beautiful. Anything in the lockers for me? Yes. And this is good stuff, right? I know, just because I've played the server a lot, that injector, which is just like a morphine or an epi pen, put it in your hands and inject it into your leg, that will cure sepsis just with 1 hit. Okay? The Topoi Somarasi, I always just call it a Topo pen. We'll forever call it the Topo pen. So I tell you what, that's a huge find, because sepsis will kill you. Some of the other things, stomach ache, level 1 pain, concussions, you can ride those out. They're very uncomfortable and annoying because they affect your vision. They give you blurred vision. I call it the kaleidoscope vision. But they won't kill you. Flu, which develops into pneumonia, will kill you if untreated, and sepsis will kill you if untreated. Obviously, you can bleed to death as well if you've got a deep wound, bullet wound you can't treat, or at least staunch the flow of blood. With a bandage will work. Ideally, you can find hemostatic bandages, which are better. Look at that syringe, beautiful. We can now use injectable medication. Whatever that one was, we picked up. And I don't know if things spawn medically in this car or if it's too far away from the medical. Don't think it does. Nah, alright. I don't think it does in this shed either, but I'm still going to check it. Because I don't often check this shed. I don't think it does, though. Oh, it does. Look at that. It's a clutch bag. See, you can't see your canvas bag. You can only see the radio and the chem light. You have to take it off. But now we can put that away. You put it in your hands. If you press B on your keyboard, it'll put your backpack in your hands and back onto your back. Beautiful. And I'm going to make my way back around this way, avoiding zombies. We don't need to get into the fight. And we're going to go for the summer camp of dreams. Still haven't eaten anything. We haven't added any calories to our poor belly. So we're on the clock. If we hit red food, we're in trouble. Not only are we going to be dying, we're going to be moving slowly, which hinders us getting anywhere which may provide food or fish hooks, etc. So you just desperately want to avoid hitting red food. We didn't find any food meds. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It is a waste because we've only got one use for this medication. But if you've got a full bottle, say it's 3/4 full, and you don't know what something does, as long as you haven't used a lot of medication in a short period of time, because you can overdose on this server, why not just test it for science? Inject yourself with the contents. You'll have a symbol then that comes up in the HUD. Now that is level 2 cold or flu medication. So now we know. Ceftriaxone is for colds and flus, which we didn't have at the time, but we now know what it does. That could be a tip in itself, you know? If you don't know what something does, and as long as you haven't injected yourself with a load of stuff recently that you've actually needed to take, why not just take something? There are certain poisons out there that will kill you, though. Oh, you've got to be slightly careful. The poison Novichok. Oh my god, look at this. Scripted food. Someone has planted, harvested pumpkin, and then left one there. What a gent. What a legend. But yeah, there is a medication called Novichok, and it will kill you. It's a poison. But it only tends to spawn in military areas. So, although we're on the clock, that clock has been reset slightly by us finding 2 slices of pumpkin. We're going to bosh these down. It's going to give us nice 3 arrows up on the food, 2 arrows up on the hydration, which was okay anyway, because we sipped at the well. The hoe is good if you want to go farming. We probably should pay this back, this favour, and use the hoe to set a plot of land and replant these pumpkin seeds. Can we do that? Can you do that? That shows how often I do it. Can you even do this with a hoe in the garden in here? Yeah, dig a garden plot. Look at this. What a legend we are. Let's pay it forward. You never know. We may die, and in 4 hours' time, get a Sitnik spawn, and it may have rained, and we're going to be glad of these pumpkins that will then grow. Because someone will be. Like we were just very, very grateful for our own that we found randomly here. Thanks, Trick. But yeah, drop your questions as they pop up in your head in the comments. We'll answer them all, but it's difficult with IntenZ, especially because I've got a lot of experience with it. Like I said, I can explain things, but a lot of it is situational. I'm gonna sneeze as well, IRL. I do apologise. Excuse me, a little bit of hay fever from Livonia. Look at this, what a legend. Fully planned. Drop the spares there as well. We'll head off again. Good deed for the day done. We find some good loot now in the next half an hour. Easy karma. If you're new to IntenZ and you're finding it difficult for... What are you finding difficult? You know, learning all the medications. If that's the case, start a new character, put all 30 points in the medical section of the skill tree. It's a bit of a risk. But you will then be able to read all the packages for tablets. You won't be able to read them for the vials of injectables, but you'll be able to read a lot of the medications and what they do without having to refer to your medical guide. But I think trial and error is good, and when you're new to the server, don't be afraid to have the medical guide up on a second screen. I did it for months, certainly weeks, when I was new to this server. And then, like anything, muscle memory, you just learn. You just remember what they are and what they do. Let's kill Mr. Hunter Zombie here, who's got the possibility of dropping something nice. I nearly mistimed that then. Pitchfork of Dreams. It is an art. Try and practice getting that power strike in if you find one. Aim high so you hit them in the head. And always look down these dirt roads for a stone you could then turn into a stone knife. If another player has been through recently, or even you're doubling back from a previous journey, you could have spawned them in. Watch out for bear traps here. Look at these zombies. That could have been an issue. We walk around nonchalantly, looking for this bare-chested one, and then he comes around the corner out of nowhere. We're alright though, we spotted him with his yellow jacket. You might not want to search all the zombies because you're putting yourself in a real position to get attacked by another player. But at the moment when I'm recording this, it's quite low pop and I'm just taking the chance, to be honest with you. Another quick tip. If you're going into a medical building, or really at any time, it's not a bad idea to hotbar the first aid kit. Because instead of dragging it in your hands all the time, you can just go 5, put the chlorine in, press 5, puts it away. It's just a little bit quicker. We're going to go clockwise around this camp, and we're going to make sure you search this camp thoroughly. Tab in on these beds, because sometimes they can hide loot. You can't see them clearly. We don't really need a heat pack. If it was winter, I would take it. But yeah, tab all the corners. You might miss some loot. Doesn't do any harm. And make sure you hit up the sheds in the middle. They can spawn hunting stuff. And also, tab around the vicinity of the boats. Because there could be a little fishing hook hidden somewhere. Not on this occasion. I'm getting the pitchfork out ready for Grandad. Oh my god. Shots where we were, really. We were lucky then. We took a slap from a zombie for the first time and it didn't do any damage. Health went down a little bit, but didn't leave us with any bruising or cuts or concussion. We might be about to be run up on by some chads, I'm afraid. Rotten food? Do you know what? I'm going to take it now we've got the space. I've got an idea. There may be a train convoy there. A dynamic train spawn. And some chad is shooting the zombies. That's what it sounds like to me. I want to search this whole camp first, then we might go and investigate afterwards. Look at that, beautiful. Hunting pants. Same capacity as what we had, but cleaner. Better colour, in my opinion. Better condition. Battered ones there. Crossbow bolts, we'll take them. We haven't got a crossbow yet, but you never know. Not a keen wearer of that hat. See how I'm searching all these boats as well? That's where we found the hunter pants. But we're desperately hoping to find a hook. I've got one more possible spot up my sleeve after this, if we don't get shot. More hunter pants. Not a lot here. The pants are a good find. I suppose the crossbow bolts were a good find. Some rotten food. We haven't got any medicine for. Pack. More pants. Okay. I suppose for the pants alone, especially if you were still in your spawn pants, having those 24 slots are great. Now, I usually leave this summer camp. When I come past the last cabin, swing a right, get back on the dirt road, and start looking again for small stones you can turn into knives, which you're going to need for fishing, gutting the fish, cutting up chickens, digging for worms. Fishing's going to be your best friend on IntenZ. Prioritise getting fishing gear immediately. Prioritise it. Obviously blades you're going to need as part of the fishing. Loot up and get better clothing, better capacity, medicine. But you can have all the medicine in the world, it isn't going to save you if you starve to death. And oh my god, some legend has been planting over here. I told you we'd get the DayZ karma for replanting those pumpkin seeds earlier. There's only one left. Is there? Yeah? One pumpkin? Alright, we're going to do the same thing here. Oh, look at this. This item. I think it's only a few servers I've seen this on before, IntenZ being one. Tackle box, where you can store hooks, worms. Worms will stack in 4s on this server as well. I think they're bringing that into official. And you've got 4 slots, so you can keep something like a flare there. And it will only take up 2x2 in your inventory. How cool is that? Let's get this pumpkin on the go. See, we're still in yellow, and those 2 pumpkin slices from before didn't get us anywhere near the white, but you know, they stopped us from dying. I think they're my favourite pants, cargo pants, but we're not going to take them because they're battered. We're going to eat the pumpkin. We're going to replant with the seeds we get. I think there's space in the patch to do so. And then I'm going to show you the main reason why I came over here. Stealth already up to 2. Cold-blooded. Sounds made by your mouth shivering when you're cold. Reduced by 10%. Nice. Oh yeah, there's another plot here we can use. Look at that. Scripted. Scripted pumpkin plot. And again, regardless of what happens to us, in a few hours' time, with a bit of rain in Livonia, which is not unusual, we should have some pumpkins for some other weary traveller. Without a gun, if we see someone, we're obviously going to try and talk, try and be friendly. We have got weapons that will do people severe damage, but we only need 1 bullet to hit us, and we're in a world of pain, even if we survive it. I came over here primarily to look at the fishing boats. This is a great spot to fish as well. Look how close to the town it is. But you can walk around there, get yourself tucked away in these reeds and do a little bit of fishing if you get lucky and get the materials. But look at this. A helmet? Really? Oh, there you go. There we go. The script comes through. So we've got our own rope. We've now got a hook. We've got plenty of blades. We can fish for our supper. It's well worth coming over here. I didn't know this was here, though. A base. Okay. That's probably who's been planting. Good on you. On you, mate. Duct tape. Always good to fix up some clothes. Even though there's not much of it. And, yeah, we'll just leave these people be. But we can search the fishing boats. Hopefully not get shot by the owner. Look at that. An actual fishing rod. Yeah, we're going to take that all day. We haven't really got room for it, but let's imagine we were going to do a spot of fishing there, cook it up on an improvised cooking stand. It's going to be quicker with the fishing rod. I've got a hatchet on me. So I'm going to drop that. I'm going to use the hatchet as my primary melee weapon. We're going to drop the pitchfork of dreams. And look at this. Small stones have spawned in. Probably from us walking past a couple of minutes ago. And the fact that we were in the vicinity, even when we walked down there. You can combine 2 small stones and make a stone knife. You can then make an improvised spear, which, like the pitchfork, is a one-tap weapon on this server if you hit the zombie in the head with a power hit. Now I'm going to do something silly. I'm going to go looking for the shooter, see if they're friendly. What if they're very friendly and they give us a load of loot? I feel 45 minutes into the video, I've shown you really how to get a pretty dreamy start on IntenZ. That's even better because we've now got a head torch. The night times are longer on this server. So you'll want a light source, and I'm just picking up as many small stones as my little character can carry. Now look, there wasn't a train convoy, so it wasn't somebody shooting zombies on the train just to get rid of them quickly. It doesn't sound like it was all the way up there in grabbing DayZ. It sounded like it was possibly more back the medical way. Now we haven't got a lot of medical supplies. Okay, if we get a concussion, a deep wound, a bullet wound, it's not a lot for us to be able to say, look, I'm ready to go south now. We haven't got a gun to kill wolves, and you will get wolves more frequently on this server, and even closer to spawns zones that you might not normally expect them to be. So I'm going to think to myself, I know Livonia quite well. There is a hospital in Grabbin, so I'm going to make my way up to Grabbin. There is a source of water in Grabbin. You've got the main river that runs through it, and another pond, a bit like that one over there. So now with my fishing rod, my hook, my blades, I've had 4 slices of pumpkin. My arrows are going up on the food. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, we can easily get up to Grabbin, where there's another medical. We can hit that up for some more supplies. There's actually a building or 2 around the medical of Grabbin that is close enough to spawn medical supplies as well. We're a bit out in the open. If there is somebody with bad intentions around, and we did hear shots, it could be risky, and it's a little bit of a hike. I probably should have mentioned this in the first 2 minutes. When you come onto this server, the first difference of your playstyle, if you like, the first change you want to make, you may have noticed it, I don't sprint anywhere. If you sprint, I'll do it for a little bit. Watch the arrow. 2 arrows down on my food. I'm already starving to death quite quickly, even though we've eaten 4 bits of pumpkin. If I sprint, those arrows turn to 3 downward arrows. That'll turn my apple from yellow to red even quicker. So unless you have full white apple, you've got a ton of fish on you, or you've got the ability to fish, you're quite close to a source of water, or you're in a gunfight, your life literally depends on it, do not sprint on IntenZ. It forces you to play a different way than what you would have been playing on official, where you just run around, grab cans of food, fruit that falls from trees that they don't have on this server, or at least they didn't last time I checked. You've really got to slow your gameplay down, and the first part of that is literally slow your gameplay down. Do not sprint anywhere unless your life depends on it. You're running from wolves or players. I'm just going to get stuck in this bush, open up the skill tree, and apply my first level. You can run fast for 10% longer. Well, I just told you not to run fast, so I use that one. Stamina recovers 10% faster when jogging or walking, which is a great perk to have early doors. So you're slowing your gameplay down literally because you don't want to burn through your calories. You're also then learning to scan ahead and make sure I don't aggro 2 or 3 zombies because they hit harder. And unless I've got a bladed weapon or an improvised spear or a pitchfork, I can't put the zombies down with 1 hit. They're going to batter me, basically. So I'm slowing my gameplay down, as in I'm choosing the path of least resistance. A lot more than I would even do on official as a new player. or any level of skill player, really. See, it's not that far to grabbing. If you hug these train tracks from the summer camp of dreams and the lake of potential. The lake of scripted success. As long as you can see those apartments in grabbing are opposite the medical. So that's the side of town we're going to stick to. That side of town is usually crawling with zombos. I mean, there is quite a few points of interest, like Wells, PD, hunting store. Maybe we hit them up for the end of this video, give you a little look of grabbing. If you didn't watch my super detailed beginner's guide to Livonia and a Sitnik spawn, or a grabbing spawn, you don't know Livonia well, maybe we'll have a walk around grabbing at the end. I'm sort of sorry I haven't been able to show off more of the medical ailments you can get, if you like. Bad belly. We will show it off as long as we've got the right medication to treat it. Like I say, it is situational. If a zombie kicks my head in now and we get concussion, great, I can show you what it looks like, but I can't show you how to fix it unless I find the concussion meds, you know? Very situational. It's going to be very suck it and see for you if you're new to IntenZ, but just stick to the main rules. Don't sprint. Get a long stick straight away. As soon as you can get a bladed weapon, pitchfork, improvised spear, you want to be able to put the zombies down pronto, and you want to be aiming to get the ability to fish as quick as possible. You need your knives, your rags to turn into rope, or rope itself, or you get lucky and find a fishing rod like me. Your blades to be able to dig up worms, to be able to actually fillet the fish. And you want to allocate your points correctly at the beginning, in my opinion. Going by the structure that I used for your initial 30 points is not a bad way to do it. I think it's quite a balanced way, particularly for a new player. If you know grabbing at all, you'll know there's a hunting stand thing. What do you call it? A summer camp building, we'll call it. Oh, there's another chicken down there as well. Great. Oh, hello. Coming in to say hello, are you? Not welcome. We'll search you though. You might be carrying a bone or two. I can turn into extra hooks. No? Okay. Let's check this little hut here, which will spawn summer camp loot. First ever, and I think my only IntenZ base was in that apartment. Oh, look at that. Gun cleaning kit. Running a bit low on space, even though we've got a bag. What are we carrying? Are we carrying junk? We are carrying some junk, because we won't even eat that rotten food unless we find the right medication. But it's early doors, isn't it? You want to grab everything, and then you want to prioritize. Like, we don't really need that now. We've had a bite to eat, and we've got the ability to fish. But our priority now is the medical. Killing these medical zombies and searching them as well. And I'll show you all the buildings around this grabbing medical, which has the possibility of spawning medical loot. It's a good one. Unlike that Sitnik medical, which will only spawn it, I think, in the one car out the front, plus the blue building itself, this one has a lot more secret spots. Look at that. Paracetamol. Cures level 1 pain and level 1 cold. Excellent. It's like a 2-for-1 paracetamol. There are a couple of pills and stuff that do that. See, that all of these have got medical loot. There's gloves there if you hadn't already found any. Another bandage. Another syringe. We don't need another syringe. We want to kill these zombies. See the one aggroed on us and I'm not moving at all? I'm letting the zombie come to me. If I start running towards that zombie, old blue jacket over there might start hearing me. Suddenly I've got 2 zombies on me. So I just stay still and let the one come to me. But there's drop loot outside, which is a bit worrying. We did hear shots. It could have been from this direction. So as I'm fighting the zombie, I'm looking around as well. And I'm not searching that one, because I've seen that lab coat. Oh my god, I don't know what that does. So, same rule applies. We take it anyway while we've got room. Nonocog Alpha. Taking it. Closing this door in case someone's holding an angle with a gun and then we can hear them shuffling maybe. No one in here. We've got some iodine. Make some bandages if we run out of bandages by disinfecting. Daikinin replenishes your blood. I'll show you what it looks like when you take one. So if you've been cut by a lot of zombies or shot, I think because of the clock there on the teardrop or the blood droplet, it shows you that it clots your blood and it will slow down the bleeding, or it will regenerate your blood quicker. One of the two. Anyway, it's a blood medicine. More bandages. We're getting a bit bandage heavy. Up to you what you take. More paracetamol. Always stack your meds. Don't have 2 piles of the same medication unless you're at a limit and you can't stack them anymore. Such a waste of space. We're going to search out here because we didn't. Make sure no one's holding an angle on us. Oh, look at this. This is good stuff. Movalis is for pain. We've already got 1. Now we've got 5. And a hemostatic bandage. If we get a cut or a bullet wound, it will stop the bleeding completely. And we know that's for cold and flu now. So a hemostatic bandage is great. When you come out of this building, search the car. There's a well in the middle of those bushes there. Search the car, which has a chance of spawning medical loot. Nothing. So does this little attic house. So does this double. It's one of the best medicals on Livonia for giving you extra areas to loot. NBC stuff there. Epinephrine. Be nice, but not essential. More paracetamol. Amitriptyline is for mental health, so if you have to kill a player, skin a player for bones, you start losing some mental health. You can start regaining it with an amitriptyline. It's only 1 tablet though, it ain't going to do a lot. I think a zombie is onto us. Try and lose it. Come around the front, make sure no one's drinking at the well. Check this car, it can spawn medical loot. Even though it's this far away from the medical, and so can this building. Shutting the door behind me. Say lab coat. Ooh, an EpiPen. Lovely. So because the stamina takes ages to regenerate on this server, if we get in trouble, a player starts shooting us, we haven't got a gun to shoot back. To have the EpiPen to pop and then outrun any player that hasn't got their own EpiPen is a lovely thing to have. Heptril, I believe, regenerates your blood or causes it to clot. I'm taking that all day long. Neurox gets rid of concussions. It's an injectable version, which you need a syringe for, but we're okay. But I tell you what, you do not want to be... Well, I'm going to bin that off, actually. You do not want to be walking around with concussion in this game. It lasts for about 45 minutes, and I call it the kaleidoscope vision. It makes it really difficult to see. Also, you shuffle along. Even if you've got maximum health, it will give you the walking style as if it'll look like you've crapped your pants, basically, as you're walking along. Hit the well if you need to, but I just want to show you some more points of interest before we end this episode. There's another knife. Wonderful. I mean, we're taking it all day long. Nice spot to fish here is under the bridge. There's another well down there, where those zombies are on the right. And also, if you cook, there's a bridge you can fish under and cook under if you want to on a long stick, sharpened stick. And if you go past the bridge over the other side, there's a military tent and there are police zombies. So if you're still looking for a stab vest and some bullets, and you've got the hang of killing them one by one and not aggroing 2 or 3 at a time, why not go for them? Farm some police loot. Some flares, potentially. Light some fires. Some bullets. But we're going to go up this road to the hunting store. That is a zombie. I was making sure there. These apartments will spawn loot. They're not like the Chinaris apartments. You can get loot in there. Clothing, bullets, maybe a derringer, a revolver if you're lucky. Food, if you're very lucky. It'll probably be rotten. But they are worth checking if you're not on the clock. If you're not, you know, desperate to get some food or whatever. This can also be a train crash convoy. Believe it or not, on this server in IntenZ, I found a baby AK with a mag on one of those convoys. And just in here, which is industrial, there is a green military container. So sometimes before I hit that hunting store, or just after, I'll loot this. You might get really, really lucky, or you're probably going to find a hat or something. Look at that, a helmet. A military helmet. I tell you what, we'll take it, why not? Bit chatty. We haven't even got any chest protection, but, you know, it might deflect a 22 bullet and keep us alive or something. We'll probably still go uncon, but whatever, we'll wear it. The Chad Master General ballistic helmet, and it's black, so it's not a bad colour. It's going to stand out at night. We'll hit the hunting store, we'll go up the road to the police station, and then I'll show you a nice easy way to get to Tarnow, our next town, which has a medical, and a PD, and a fire department. But you know, medicine is going to be your friend. Fishing and medicine are going to be your friends on this server. Ooh, 7x5, the wrong type of ammo for our BK, shame. Even one bullet would have been dreamy. We could have taken down an animal or a player, but it is what it is. We're going up the main road. There's the PD in all her glory. We're going to loot that, and I'm going to show you the way to Tarnow. Like I said, fishing's your best friend. Slowing your game down compared to what you're used to doing on official servers and vanilla. And learning your medicines. And just hoovering up as much medicine as you can. Especially once you know which the best medicines are. Some of them you can do without. Some of them are literal lifesavers, so prioritize. Always take the better knife. Thought that was better condition. Check this. You can get hunting gear on this. Not today. I think someone's been through recently. Someone could still be in the PD. Police loot does not spawn in those garages, despite them being very close. Or the sheds behind. And there is a police zombie out front, which seems to be on its own. We want it to come to us, so we don't attract any of its friends making noise. Here we go. I'm not going to search it though. It's right outside the PD. We're just going to put it down, earn our first point of strength. And I'm not going to be surprised if we get shot in here. If anyone has been lucky and found an early loaded gun, they might be aggressive just to get our loot and get a good start. I wouldn't blame someone. We've done it ourselves. It can be so rough, this server. But even though I said a lot of people will talk, that's nice. Also, it can be tempting to take advantage over another player because it's so tough. Having that sudden burst of, loot off another player can be that leg up you want. You know, that immediate advantage. Some rubber slugs. We've dropped the bolts because we haven't found a crossbow anyway, and we might find a 9mm gun, even a P1, that we can utilize that mag and those few shots with. Just seems like... Oh, there we go. More 9mm. So a 9mm will be our friend. I'm going to go up on the roof. Just risk it. Might get sniped. Rubbers. But with a helmet and a chest protector now, even though it's damaged, it's not too bad. I know I've still got to activate my strength perk. I want to show you the way to... Not Amarillo. Tarnow. Make him aggro. Make him sprint at you. When he's in range, put him down. Eventually. They are slightly stronger. Because he's tucked around the corner, I'm going to risk searching him. Might drop something nice. Nah. Alright. Be careful, you can... See? I was going to say, be careful. They could be hiding in the bushes. Here he comes. That one is a one tap. These ones, usually 2 hits to the head with a bladed weapon. This road then, straight up here, you'll get to tar now. Another well, another medical, PD, fire department, etc. If you want more specifics, if you want more intense, super detailed guides, or, you know, at least the first hour, how I get started, how I loot up, where do I go, how do I fight the zombies, what's going through my mind, my thought process, my priorities, get a weapon, make sure I only fight the zombies one at a time if I can, don't run anywhere, just jog, get the fishing gear as quick as possible. Make sure you allocate your perks as soon as you spawn in. And when you get a perk, like we just got strength level 1, tuck yourself away in a house, press O on the keyboard, get that perk activated. Strength intensive movements consume 10% less stamina. Activate it. And every time there's a restart, or you log off for the night, you get back on the next day. Say I've just logged in now after a restart, or it's my first session of the day playing, I always go back in. There's a little bug in DayZ. Yeah, believe it or not. DayZ with bugs. Flawless game, isn't it? COD, what are you talking about? They can, for some reason, deactivate some of these perks, and they'll be black instead of green. So you don't want to butcher a chicken and realise you haven't even got level 1 butchering anymore. So always check your perk tree, your skill tree, every time you log back in after a restart, or it's your first play session of the day. We're going to leave it here on the outskirts of grabbing these. We know the way to tar now. Let me know what you think about the super detailed IntenZ guides. Let me know any specific questions or what you're struggling in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out. Bye bye.